Hey there, everybody. Some of these Keith Gordon episodes, we ran into a little technical issues. Bear with us and enjoy the rest of the content. And without further ado, cue the music.
Did you see my sad face when I spilled the beer?
Oh, did you spill
A
beer?
little bit on the couch.
On your sock?
I took off my sock to soak in the beer. My name's Jason,
My name is Jules.
and we doing
Filmographies.
Went too fast at the time.
I don't think I want to do it together ever again.
Okay.
I'll just come in.
Okay.
Ah.
Fair. All right.
Yep, we're back.
We are back.
Week 2.
Week 2, we got the Keith Gordon series.
Yeah.
Which, secretly, we might do all 12 of them, guys. 10's our limit. But
Yeah.
it's only got 2 left
Mm-hmm.
after we get through there. So tonight we are doing Brian DePalma. Brian DePalma, who did Carrie, The Fury,
Blowout?
Untouchables.
Scarface?
Scarface, did he?
Yeah.
And he also did home movies.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Starring Kirk Douglas
Yeah, as the maestro.
as the maestro. And
Keith Gordon as the stand-in for John Cusack and other people.
And Keith Gordon's supposed to be Brian DePalma. Supposed to be real autobiographical.
Oh, is that right? I guess I get that. I thought the maestro was supposed to be Brian De Palma.
Shit. You might be right. No, because his parents.
Maybe both.
Yeah, I think you're right about both.
Yeah.
The Google
Mm-hmm.
under the movie has the synopsis wrong. A cult guru, Kirk Douglas, urges the shy disciple, Keith Gordon, to make life a movie and be its star. He's not the cult guy. Is he? I mean, the brother is. The brother has the cult. The Min.
Yeah, but okay, what is the maestro?
Is the maestro real?
I don't know.
Cut. Let's hold it a minute.
I assumed he was not, but then at a certain point I was like, is he a real guy?
I mean, he's like the narrator, but he's also like the protagonist in a way. I mean, he gets everything going.
Yeah.
So this movie kicks off.
It's comedy.
Which is what I was under the impression of while watching the opening animated credits.
Mm-hmm. You see,
not awful.
Like maybe you don't feel it is a comedy though.
It's very much a comedy, and a broad comedy, a slapstick comedy at times.
A satirical farce.
Yeah, I suppose so. Apparently Brian did this during one of his classes.
Yes.
Right? He got some of his students to probably be in some of those roles. Probably the young kids with the troupe, maybe, or some of his actual students. And some help direct.
I think it was it was like...
We did this lighting, right.
Sound.
Even though I think he later said that their efforts amounted to like 1% of the shots in the movie.
But I read that he was only responsible for like 5% of the shots.
Oh, well then maybe the IMDb trivia got it wrong.
I think nobody cares about this movie, so the facts are probably going to be fast and loose.
You know, it's funny because it's no worse than a lot of movies from that time. It's no Blazing Saddles, but I mean, it's not really like...
It felt very of its time.
Yeah.
I didn't find it funny.
No, I didn't think any of it.
I initially was like, oh, this movie's weird. This is going to be good.
It kind of feels like a Woody Allen movie.
Everything's cranked to like 12.
In a
All
way.
the performances and the dialogue's cranked to 12.
Yes.
I don't like that. It's silly.
It feels like if Woody Allen shot a Wes Anderson movie.
Huh.
Like, the characters are caricatures that exist within their lane.
Keith Gordon's like the only person rooted in reality.
Somewhat.
Yeah, it's fucking bad.
So it starts off with the maestro. It's at least clever enough to alter the framing when we're watching the maestro versus the rest of the movie.
Yeah, what do you call that tight shot? The 3-in-1? I don't know. But the little box in the middle of your big screen.
Now, I watched this on YouTube.
Yeah, me too.
So
you can do this too.
It was already in standard format.
Pause this and watch the movie and then come back and listen to us.
So on my screen, which is 4x16x9, what is widescreen TVs now? It's square in the center of the TV. So then when you're watching those maestro sequences, it's an even smaller square. But so I don't like Kirk Douglas. Kirk.
Kirk.
I don't think I've ever seen him in anything where I've especially enjoyed him. He's not of our time.
No, in this movie,
I liked him in here.
this is 1979.
Mm-hmm.
He already looks really old.
Yeah, he's in his late 60s, right?
I thought he was about 70. He's like 63.
Yeah,
So he's really not even that old yet. He's 23 years older than me at this point. I don't look forward to the next 10 years of my life.
Well,
It's going downhill, man.
I mean, I guess he lived a hard life because he looked like a bag of bones, but I thought he was fine as this character.
I actually found him quite good.
Yeah.
He has a lot of movie star appeal still.
He does.
He's energizing to the scenes when he pops in.
That's right, and don't you ever forget it.
I like that, he speaks to the camera guy
Uh-huh.
over the shoulder. Get a close-up on this.
What the hell you doing back there? Get around on the big money.
Yeah.
Right? He's directing it. Yeah, he's got pizzazz.
Yeah.
And, his class is about making you the star or the leading man or whatever.
And whatever you do, however you do it, whatever you say, however you say it, you're right. Because your life is the perfect vehicle for you, and nobody can play your part but you.
So it's like I don't know what you would call this, a fantasy? Because I don't think the maestro exists in the way either that we see him or at all.
I thought there was like a moment. Isn't there a moment in the movie where he tries to get in to see the maestro? Or is that something else?
He goes to see him.
Yeah.
So the movie starts, and he talks about how Keith Gordon failed.
He's one of our students, and he's just an extra in his own life.
Right.
He's a former student of mine who refused to star in his own life.
We see him sitting on his luggage in Grand Central, I think, station. Does this take place in New York? I don't know. So he's like, I fucking taught this kid everything, and he cocked it up, So then we jump to something, flashback, or I don't know where. I guess it's a flashback, because that's the end of the movie is what we're seeing in the beginning.
Yeah.
So Keith is living at home. His dad is a doctor.
Mm-hmm.
His mom is a mom, and then he's got a brother who I'm like super familiar with, or he looks familiar rather. But some of the movies I looked at his filmography, I'm like, yeah, I saw that. I don't place him in there, but he just he's got a very striking
I think
face.
he looks like somebody else, perhaps, but
That might be it. He's got a very striking face. He's like,
he sort of looks like the dickhead from Die Hard 2 that she gets into the fight with on the plane. That guy who's in Videodome?
He's in Die Hard 1 too, by the way.
Okay.
A little bit, yeah. Well, so anyways, he he teaches some sort of a survival
It's how to be a man class.
Spartanetics 101.
It's very like late 70s, like teaching you to be a real man.
Yeah.
In the face of the changing times.
He's dressed like Steve Irwin, and he's got like a cadre of teenage boys
Men.
following him.
Wildly homoerotic undertones that don't really pay off for anything.
Now take my own example, for instance. I'm getting married soon. Yep. Oh, hey, not because I prefer a woman's company to yours. Of course not.
No. And so he's then engaged to a woman who apparently used to be either a prostitute or was just very...
I think she used to fuck a lot of guys.
Yeah.
I used to like all kinds of guys.
And then she went pro for a little.
Easy is right.
Oh, is that... Yeah, because, boy, when that bunny rabbit pops up...
Hello?
Hello, Toots.
Bunny, you shouldn't be calling me here.
Look, Christina, when are you gonna dump that fruit?
But at the end, I found it very funny.
It went places. So the movie starts, we see Keith Gordon making out with some chick, and they're entangled in some cables, which I thought was the phone.
No, like, I'm really confused about what's happening there.
It's very unclear, right? Like, even who she is.
She's like,
how they
dancing
got...
to her headphones.
I thought it was the phone at first. The mom comes in, and she's just flabbergasted. And he assumes it's because she just caught him with this woman.
Mom! Judy, not
Yeah, Dennis.
Dancing with her headphones and shit. But apparently it's because she caught his dad cheating on her.
Dad, too? Well, what's he doing here? He was never home.
Yeah.
And, boy, the soundtrack for this, the score for this movie, it's very, like, urgent and grand, orchestral flourishes and driving strings and shit. I think that helps me a lot in this movie. It feels like it's more than it is. So he basically is like, you know what I'm going to do for you, Mom? I'm going to spy on Dad catch him cheating on you, and then you can divorce. But so when he goes back to the mom to actually tell her his plan, she's putting mud on her face because she's like, I'm too old for him. That's the problem. I should never have told him my real age, his dad. He goes, Ma, you're only a year older than him. And I'm like, how can you be too old for that guy?
But
And I'm familiar with him,
he looks super familiar too.
but I couldn't place where.
No, I mean, I think there's just people we saw.
Yeah, they were
40
probably
years
just
ago.
old guys in like the late 80s, 90s
He was
action.
shot by 1990.
Oh.
He was dead by 90.
That's unfortunate. So, God, I feel like I'm jumping around a little bit, but so he gets this brilliant idea when he's spying on his dad to do it in blackface.
Pretty good disguise, huh? Right out of the divorce detective's handbook.
It's 1979. We can do that.
I guess.
So he rubs very light brown. It's supposed to be shoe polish.
I don't know what he uses at first. Eventually, we do see him burning court, which is actually
Vaudeville.
Yeah. But he doesn't at first pretend to be a black person. I mean, because his eyes are not shaded brown.
No.
Around them.
Right, but doesn't he wear sunglasses?
No, he just has the binoculars and the camera, I think.
But he's also, did you see the box for the wig?
Eventually, he does get the wig, yes. But not at first. At first, it's just his normal afro. His eyes are not browned. And he's just in a tree spying on his dad with the nurse. And he's like, I can't get any incriminating shots. But I'm like, I mean, he is biting her nipple or something through the shirt. But so then the maestro pops up in the tree. And
which is
lights come on. It's almost like an expose.
You've been peeping from this tree every Thursday for the past 3 weeks. You've become a bit player in your own life.
I thought that was a fucking nice little bit they did that.
He pops when he shows up. He's just like charming. It's like,
because Keith Gordon is actually peeping on a woman next door. He goes, and then I noticed the woman next door. And so then he pops up like, hey man, your life's going to shit. You know, the cops are going to fuck you up for doing this.
The police come down real hard on this sort of perversion, if you know what I mean.
I'll teach you how to be a star in your own life. And,
Right. Thank you very much.
and he does.
also the nurse that his father is cheating on his wife with.
Yeah.
Pretty hot.
Yeah.
Pretty banging, man.
Oh.
At the end when you see her body.
Yeah.
It's just like.
Well, and then somewhere in here, Keith, his brother, who I think his name is James, the mom, the dad, and the woman that's marrying James all go out to dinner. And the dad is like fawning over her.
Have you had a blood test lately?
No, I haven't been to a doctor in years.
Oh,
and she's kind of receptive to it, or at least flattered by it, I guess.
I think she might be trying to be like the good potential daughter-in-law.
And there is a weird scene with James and her where he's like, "You were a slut, right? Tell me about all the men you were with, or something." I don't know.
The dad's at like 12. He's
yeah.
When he first meets her, he puts his hand on her butt as he brings her in the door, and they close the door in Keith Gordon's face.
Yep.
Isn't he like feeding her steak?
Yeah.
At the restaurant. He's telling her,
why don't you stop by the office tomorrow and we'll do that old blood test. And once you're there, we'll throw in a complete physical as an engagement present.
Slimy as hell, man.
Oh, it's pretty wild, man.
Because that's where the
It's a little bit. These things are a little bit funny once or twice, like because you're just like, what?
Yeah.
But then it maintains that amped up degree for the whole movie.
Especially when he brings her into the office and she's like passed out on pills, and you're like, oh no.
Yeah.
It doesn't really go there, but man, so nothing much happens. The girlfriend, I can't remember her name or the actress, and I think she kind of goes on to. She's in the other Brian DePalma movie with Keith Gordon.
I think that's his girlfriend, soon to be wife. I think they're dating him, DePalma, or her and DePalma.
Oh, okay. So they go out on a hike with the brother, because Keith Gordon's developed feelings for that fiance character.
Like instantly.
Yeah.
Like the second she shows up at the house, he's mashing those potatoes.
He's going
staring at her.
Full high-low country on her. And she's kind of like an idiot or something. I don't know. But so the girl,
spirit jewels.
Yeah. So she packs. She packs like an organic lunch to go on a hike with James, his troop, and Keith Gordon. And James is like, "All right, men, forage." And they're like, oh, man. And then she goes,
James, I did all the foraging for today. I packed a special lunch for you and the boys.
and James is like, you bitch.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to have to unteach these kids something about, I don't know. And he's just throwing the food everywhere.
Destroys it, stomping the bag of whatever it is.
Potato chips, and then he like bites a bag and opens it, and it's like flour or something. It's like so stupid. It is funny though when he's throwing the potato chips, the troop, they're like opening their mouths trying to catch it because he doesn't let her or them eat anything that isn't freshly picked or something. It's so
Controlling.
So Keith takes her to. I thought it was going to be a Burger King or something. It's apparently just a burger, undisclosed burger facility, and they're eating burgers. And he's like, "Hey, would you ever date a young guy?" She's like, "I like young guys." He's like, "Oh, but my brother's like older than you." She goes, "Well, I like old guys too.
Guys.
I like all types of guys." And he's just smitten. So then she goes home. James smells the burger on her.
Not right away.
No.
And when he does smell something, he doesn't seem to realize it's coming from her. He's really looking for it.
He is. Apparently it's coming directly from under her fingernail because he's smelling all over her. And then he goes and he's on the floor. She's scrubbing her hands. And he finally is like, aha, that's dried mustard. And that's special sauce on your dress. And that's something in your teeth. And he goes, all right, I'll tell you what. If you want to get married, you're going to have to pass a test. 5 steps or something. I'm going to tell you what to do. You're going to do it.
Test.
And then if I deem you worthy, you'll find a letter that details us getting married or some shit. So I don't remember. I think we only see 2 of the steps.
What? No, they mark them all off.
They mark them off, but I only remember them. Are they going to get French fries from her? Remember the camera's like.
You know, there's that at the restaurant.
The yellow
there.
Rama or something. It's called.
Yeah, whatever it is. But they order the fries. She spills them. She almost eats one. She does.
Because their camera is hidden in a popcorn bucket, is what they say. They're like It's like it's on a, I don't know, like a
conveyor belt.
Something.
Yeah, that's odd.
And she's just standing there holding a bin of fries, gonna give it to him, but drops them and is picking them up and almost eats one. Doesn't. And then I think James is watching this in like sort of like a closet or confession booth or something, and then a tape explodes or some shit. And at this point, Keith Gordon hears her getting the final step, which is to go to a biker clubhouse and not have sex with someone.
So she has a rootin' tootin' good time with these bikers.
Yeah.
She's having fun.
Yeah.
But what does Keith do? What does he do for the second time?
He follows her in blackface.
It's time for some more blackface.
Yeah.
Let's put on the blackface.
Still not full on, but for some reason, still blackface.
Yeah.
So he's up in a tree. Maybe he's not yet. Maybe he's on the ground. But James's disciples are in a tree watching, taking notes.
Location, Bikers Bordello.
Spartanetic students Matthew, Mark,
Thomas.
So she goes to this biker house full of bikers, no other women. They all put their keys into a hat to determine which filmography they're going to do next. And
nice.
She pulls out a set of keys and they're like, and they start fighting and the guy just grabs her and runs upstairs. And they're kissing a little bit and he puts her on the bed and she's like, I'm really turned on. He's like, me too. And then she goes, wait, stop. I'm not going to have sex. This was just a test. And he's like, no. And he rips off her dress and he's about to rape her. And Keith springs into action and actually dispatches the dude.
Punches her in the face.
And then kicks him in the nuts. And throws a coat on her and they run out of the house while the idiots are still fighting. And they get outside. And
she runs from him, right?
Well, no, she goes, what are you doing here?
She doesn't know it's him right away, though. He's like,
that's right.
It's me.
Right. She's like, what? How did you know? Did James tell you? And he's like, what is this? I don't understand.
I'm following you.
Yeah. So they leave. But there's a funny bit when the guys in the tree that are watching. And then all of a sudden the maestro pops up. And he basically delivers the same line to them as he did to Keith when he was peeping.
She's exciting, isn't she?
I thought that was perfect.
You're a Douglas fan now.
I'm a Maestro fan. You want to know what this guy's all about. I wonder if the Maestro character from Seinfeld was somehow based on this guy.
No.
It's at this point where James decides she's passed the test. She finds the note, but then she kisses Keith Gordon. Is that what happens?
Don't they have sex?
They do have sex, but
is that later?
For some reason, she's weeping. Oh, right. Okay, so she's like, we're getting married. And then it jumps to James is out in the field with his troop, and he's teaching them how to caress and effectively coerce women into...
As he also explains that women are terrible, and I wish I could just blow my load in the dirt.
For purposes of this demonstration, Thomas, Mark, and I will be the men. Andrew, Luke, and Matthew will be the women.
I'm only getting married, not because I want to be with her more than you men, but because I need to plant my seed and I can't fuck the dirt. So he's like, put your right hand on the face, and, and they're kissing. And
What does this have to do with Spartanetics? Yeah, I don't want Luke touching me. I won't do it. It's fag stuff. Silence!
Then he's like, I'm going to teach you the fine art of mounting, I think. It's a delicate procedure, but... And this is when she just appears. She's in the woods watching. And she's like, oh my God. And runs home. Mm-hmm. Apparently, transportation is not an issue in this movie.
No, she's got fast travel.
So she gets home and she goes, hey, Keith Gordon, you want to kiss me? And he's like, oh boy.
Yeah, I sure would.
Do I ever?
I've been thinking about this for a while.
I guess they have sex. He's in his underwear, just knocked out the next morning. She's in her nightie, and she's just popping mom's pills.
Yep.
Not sure why. Is she trying to kill herself?
She might just be upset about it.
Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry. Before they hook up, she comes home and she's distraught in her room, and she pulls out a rabbit hand puppet, and it's doing she's doing a different voice.
What are you crying about?
It's like a real thing. It's like the beaver.
You pull yourself together. If you'd listen to me, you wouldn't be in this nut house.
And he's like, you're a slut. We're going to go back to fucking at the cat house or something it's called.
Catch us at the pussycat.
And he's trying to rip off her clothes. And she's like, no, and Keith Gordon comes in like, what's going on? And she's like, you want a kiss? And then, we already covered that. So she's taking all these pills. She's got a rabbit on her hand. It's the day of the wedding. Everybody's at the house. Oh, I'm sorry. No, before this.
You're skipping over the security guard?
Yeah, this is when he goes full blackface.
Yeah.
He discovers cork, so now he's really dark. He's pitch black. And he's got an afro wig on over his real afro.
Yeah.
And he's trying to go capture his dad again. And yeah, this fat security guard. He's not a cop, right? I think he's a security guard.
I'm not really sure.
He's got a gun.
He's probably a cop then. Oh, who knows? I think rules are probably a lot more lax in the 70s.
Yeah, and he's like...
Hey, colored boy!
And Keith Gordon's like, what? He punches him. And he goes, you gonna cry because of police brutality? And he pulls off the wig. And Keith Gordon's like, oh no, I'm white.
Yeah. I remember when the wig comes off. He's like...
God damn!
And he's like, I'm with a news channel. We're doing a expose on...
police brutality.
Towards minorities. And he enlists the cop to burst into his dad's office to expose him...
molesting his minority employee?
Yeah, he's like in his skivvies and he's on top of her.
Man, this doesn't add up at all, huh?
No, and then the cop's like,
what kind of racial minority is she?
Hey, man, can't you see the oppressed racial minority right in front of your face?
Her?
He's an Eskimo.
I mean, you already said the N-word, but I was going to say the E-word. And he's actually quite sickened by the dad. So then he goes home and all that bunny rabbit and sex happens.
Now it's the day of the wedding.
I'm sorry. Even before that,
no.
He gets home. And the grandmother is fucking around with the light at the bottom of the stairs. And he's like, what are you doing? She's like, I set up a chair.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to film the bride coming down. And then she goes, oh, I see you had the same idea. Because he's got all this film and camera. And he's like, oh, no, I'm doing something else. And she goes, well, do you have extra film? And he goes, yeah, take any of the film in there. Right? Not really worried that his evidence is quite possibly going to be destroyed. So the woman comes home and he's like, hey, why are you crying? And then all that happens. Now it's the day of the wedding. She's popping pills. She's out of her gourd. She's got a rabbit.
The bunny's saying lots of crazy stuff.
Where's the booze?
They grab some pictures.
Pictures of her.
That I guess is like a flyer.
Sexy pics.
Yeah. So they're handing them out to everyone.
Catch us at the pussycat.
And the mom is like, oh my God. She's clutching her pearls, And the grandmother's filming it. And she goes, James, what kind of a woman is this? And he goes,
a plain and simple...
or something. A loose woman. I don't know. So she runs out, steals his truck. Keith runs out, gets into it. James and the mom run after him. them in her car, and she's doing the rabbit, and it flies out of the truck, and now she's like broken. The spell's broken, and they race to the hospital because she's still fucked up on pills, and he takes her up to the dad's office, and he's like, I gotta pump her stomach. And even though he made Keith Gordon stay while he pumped the mother's stomach at the beginning of the movie, now he's like, you gotta leave. I gotta be alone with her. And he does, like an idiot. He's like, but I think this is bad. I know my dad. And then I remembered the tree. So he runs outside to get into the tree. At which point the mother and James show up. The cop guy is just standing in the road eating a slice of pizza.
They almost hit him.
They do hit him.
What are you doing in the middle of the street?
They pull up, open up the door, and that clobbers him. And he starts frisking the mom. And James is like, "Arr."
Are you frisking my mother?
And he goes, here, hold my gun for a second. I'm trying to frisk your mother. Keith Gordon falls out of the tree. He's injured, slightly unconscious. The dad is bringing the girl out for some reason. And Keith is like, oh no, they're going to think she's hooking up with dad instead of me. James sees her, is holding the cop's gun, and points it at them because he's going to kill her. And he actually pulls the trigger, but there's apparently no bullets in the gun or the safety's on. Although it's the 70s, so they probably won't safety. But she gets hit by an ambulance.
I not only want the registration, I also want to see your license.
And I'm like, wait, is she dead? Because it just jumps forward.
Everybody thinks she is.
They're crying at home and watching the home movie that the grandmother was shooting. And then, of course, she used the film with the dad boinking the nurse. Because that pops up. And the dad just like sticks his tongue out and is like, oh, right. And the mom's like, oh my God. And James is just like, Dad. And then all of a sudden they're sending Keith Gordon off to college. Have a good time. It's college. And then we get to the point. Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry.
Oh.
He does go see the maestro at one point.
Oh, yeah, they have that talk.
And the maestro's like, film your life.
And he's like sleeping during their discussion. He's so defeated by everything.
So he brings back the movie and they're watching and the maestro's just like,
this is garbage.
And then he starts passing out and he's like, God damn it, son.
You're zonked out in your own rushes.
You're sleeping during your own movie, you know?
Give me something to work with. Comedy, romance, action.
It's a metaphor, him passing out.
So now we're at the point of the movie where he's got his luggage and he's in Grand Central Station or wherever the fuck. And all of a sudden, the woman's there.
Not surprised.
She's like, I'm not dead.
It's the ambulance that hit me. They brought me right to the hospital. I'm great.
Yeah, let's be together now.
I love you.
And he's like, great. She's like, where are you going? He's like, I'm going to college. She's like, I'm going to college with you then.
I love it there.
And they go.
And now he's the star of his own movie life.
I guess.
What a terrible ending.
That was a good call.
Yeah.
You know, man, this isn't a good movie.
No.
I do kind of like small aspects of it.
Yeah.
I like James. I thought his performance was actually
the brother.
It was, yeah.
It
was what it needed to be. I don't think Keith Gordon is delivering in this.
Oh, I liked Keith Gordon the most.
And he's supposed to be the straight man, but
I agree. Like I like James. Like as they introduced the people, I was like, hey.
Mm-hmm.
I liked the dad a bit. I liked the brother.
Mm-hmm.
I liked Keith. The maestro didn't do it for me in the first scene, but by the time he started popping up a little bit more, I was like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But again, the movie is just going 100 miles an hour with their performances. Like everything's so heightened.
Yeah.
That whatever it is that I liked about them wore off very quickly as I found it exhaustingly boring.
There's no foundation to dictate what the characters, what grounds them. So, I don't know. It's very much just like vignette. Let's string this all together. Oh, they're a family. That'll maybe make it a little more cohesive. And like, why is Keith Gordon so diehard on exposing his father? You know?
I mean, maybe that's DePalma's own baggage, man.
And
it's not
the brother, that all felt like something out of like One Crazy Summer or like an 80s, like a good 80s screwball comedy. You know, it's got your requisite homophobia and blackface.
Hey man, actually it's 3 questions. Okay. When did they stop using blackface in movies as like a gag? Generally it's always a comedy gag. When did that kind of fizzle out? Late 80s, early 90s?
I don't know, because when was the movie Soul Man?
For Mark Watson, all it took was a little soul.
Right.
I mean, I feel like that was like the last hurrah to try to use that as like a framing device.
He didn't give up. He got down.
Right. Maybe 1987.
Yeah.
And then Tropic Thunder, but that's slightly evolved, different, but still blackface.
You know, it's, yes, I like that, but it is still very uncomfortable and like this, you probably shouldn't be.
I don't like that movie. I don't.
How crazy is it that Robert Downey Jr. in the year 20, I don't know, 16, 17, is doing blackface?
You think that Tropic Thunder came out in 2016 or 2017?
Yeah, when did it come out?
Man, quite a while ago, like 2010.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild. I wonder when that, because like we all know you can't do that now. You get,
yeah.
People get mad if you're doing that for a costume.
And it's weird because he says he's doing blackface in the movie, but like, not that, like, Soul Man, it's about the blackface.
Yeah.
It's the tool that he's using to accomplish. I think he's trying to get into college.
Yeah, like it's
affirmative action. But like,
I think
that's there's no reason why he needs to be in blackface in this movie.
No, it's a disguise. It's a gag. It's a bad gag.
It's like it leads to something with the cop, but that doesn't go anywhere. He could have just as easily not been doing it, and maybe he thinks he's a catbird or something. It's an odd choice for an academic institution. I mean, this is like a class, right?
Yeah.
At SoCal, where is this?
Oh, not the Maestro's.
No, yeah.
No, it was
Brian DePalma's class.
It's like UC or something like that.
Yeah. So it's yeah, man. I don't know.
Pretty acceptable in '79.
Not even like a question.
No.
About it.
Okay, question 2.
Uh-huh.
When did we stop using the F word and the N word? Not until recently. When?
I mean, they use it in Bill and Ted.
Yes. The N-word is still said in movies like dramas. But this is a comedy that's being tossed in.
No.
When did they phase out that being a normal word that you can throw into a comedy?
It's very odd for a comedy. I mean, the character is racist.
Yeah.
And I mean, there are still racists in movies. I mean, Leonardo DiCaprio says it frequently.
Okay, and that's comedy.
Django Unchained. But
like,
I'm not even like
it's not even like a Judd Apatow movie. You know, it has to be a Tarantino movie.
Probably not. I'm not even like. I guess that I'm not even like that part doesn't even really stick out to me because it's just a racist character.
Yeah.
You know, but it's just the blackface. It's just I just don't understand why they needed that.
There's no answer for you.
There isn't. And yeah, well, I mean, we didn't need the racism, but I mean, I guess we didn't really need it at all because it doesn't matter.
No.
God, it's this movie. I don't know, man. It's like only because it's Brian DePalma, I'm assuming, is why this movie exists. There'd be no other way to justify this.
No.
Exercise. It's not even a movie.
This came after Carrie and The Fury, so he's already been rocking real movies.
Blowout?
Yeah, Blowout's like
that's early 70s, right?
It's pretty wild, man.
Yeah.
This movie stunk.
It
I was really bored. I find that a lot of these movies that we have forced ourselves to watch, I find pretty boring. It's kind of exhausting. It's just more exciting in theory to watch them than to actually sit down and watch them.
Boy. So where do you land on this one? Coming off of the excellent Jaws.
I mean, I think I must have given Monument Avenue a 3.
Yeah, you may have even gone with a 2 on that one, but
dude, I mean, this is like maybe like a 3.5 because the comedy doesn't land. It's really something when you're watching a comedy and it's not funny. Some people might enjoy it, but man, if a comedy is not making you laugh, there's just nothing else there for you.
And not even like not making you laugh, but like you don't even see the laugh.
No,
like there's plenty of movies that are comedies where I'm like, I see that it's supposed to be funny, I just don't find it funny.
I guess I'm just supposed to find this behavior funny, but I don't.
No, yeah.
And the storyline,
it's like
the storyline's pretty bad. So 3.5. I liked Keith in this. I mean, I guess probably. I mean, I would give him. I'm just gonna give him a 6 because like I felt like he was my anchor in this movie.
Sure.
Like there were scenes where I was like, I get this kid.
Mm-hmm.
I like this kid. I get this kid. I'm feeling it.
Yeah, I guess I'd give the movie a 3. He doesn't have much to work with, but his performance is solid. I guess. Yeah, I'd go with a 5.
And we got some other numbers, 3 black faces.
Yeah.
2 N-words.
Mm-hmm.
1 F.
1 F.
Boobs? Do we see boobs?
I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure if the fiance was naked through the window when he gave her the coat. Because the copy that I was
think
watching
she has like lingerie.
terrible. And
I
I'm
think
pretty
it was, like,
sure
undergarment.
the woman he was peeping on wasn't naked. I think she was
Yeah.
just in bra and panties.
It's hard. It's a bummer watching low quality on YouTube.
Yeah, it's...
Like when he's far away in Central Station,
Uh-huh.
you can't make out any details of his face.
No, a number of times I'm just like,
Everything's so cloudy.
I don't know what's going on here.
Yeah, it's a bad movie.
Yeah.
Brian DePalma. I mean, I get that's pretty cool. He did it with his class.
Sure. Hopefully some of those people went on to do careers.
Yeah.
Even if they're just, Grips or Best Boys or whatever.
Sucks that KG was in this and we had to watch it.
Yeah.
Did we call him KG?
Mm-hmm.
Keithy. Yeah, man. So those are our thoughts on home movies. Go ahead and check that out. Kirk Douglas's Home Movies on YouTube.
Yeah.
1979. It's free right there for you. Maybe you think it's funny. Hey, do you know what you should do? Email me and Jules.
Yeah.
And tell us what you thought about this movie.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll read it.
Watch it with a grandparent
Yes.
and see if they laugh. And when they laugh.
Yeah. That sounds great, man.
It's a litmus test.
All right. Then you can get us on Instagram.
Yeah. We're doing filmographies.
We are doing filmography?
We doing?
We doing filmography.
I still don't know the name of the
It's
show.
hard.
I'm gonna have to get it tattooed. We should get it tattooed on our foreheads, because then when we look at each other, we know what it...
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, put them where you can see them.
On the glass.
What is it? There's that Cadence with Charlie Sheen, and he gets like 8 balls on his wrists, and he holds them up. And he's like, "I got him where you could see him, Dad." I don't remember anything else of that movie, but just him holding up those stupid tattoos. Email us. WeDoingFilmography@gmail.com.
Yeah. Rate us.
Rate us. Review us.
We got a hotline.
Oh, yeah. 763-634-1897.
Herald our arrival.
Yeah. All right. I'm Jason.
I'm Jules.
We Doing Filmographies. Good night.
Good night.
What a cute little bunny.
Thanks, kid. Hey, Toots, you want to be in showbiz?
Sure.
Great. Let's hit the road.
Wait a minute.